Hello, my name is Marianna Delgadillo, and this is the story of The Princess and the Pea. The Princess and the Pea, it's an interesting story. The overly picky prince determined to find his true princess, and the pea under the bed, never mind. Anyways, old tale indeed. Let's look at how the story should have ended, shall we?
Oh, mother, I fear I shall never find a princess that is truly true, and now it is beginning to rain. Woe is me.
Don't despair, my darling dear. You deserve a princess true as can be. And so, while the picky prince was at his whiniest, the storm had reached its stormiest. There came a knock at the castle's front door. The prince opened the door to find the soggiest, muddiest, least princessiest looking young woman he had ever seen. Hello?
Yes?
I got separated from my traveling companions during this terrible storm. May I please come in out of the rain?
I'm sorry, but we are only allowing entrance to true princesses. Good riddance.
And he slammed the door in her face. But the woman would not give up. She knocked even louder this time.
Yes?
I am a true princess. Please let me come in out of the rain. The prince was confused. Could this soggy, muddy, now grumpy young woman truly be a true princess? Oh, of course you can come in, Muddy. My dear. Thank you so much. I'm just so tired, drenched, and hungry. I barely slept at all on this trip. What I really need is shelter for the night.
But mother, she is...
Of course! Why don't you come in and get something to eat and warm up by the fire as we prepare a nice room for you to sleep in tonight? Thank you so much.
But mother, why would you...
Don't you worry, darling. You see, I have the perfect way to test if she is truly a true princess or not. And so, while the soggy princess dried off, the queen directed her servants to prepare a bed with 20 mattresses. When they were done with that, they approached the queen and said, "More? More! And so they added 20 soft down comforters. The queen was dissatisfied. More? More! Then the queen took a single tiny, plump, cutesy-looking green pea and placed it under the massive pile of comforters and mattresses. More? No! A true princess is sensitive. So, if she feels that pea under all that, then we will know she is truly a true princess. One of the servants asked, "Why don't we just, call the kingdom she says she's from and ask them if she's, a princess or not?" No! This is the only way! And so, the next morning at breakfast, the prince and the queen anxiously awaited the princess's arrival. Finally, she dragged herself down the stairs with what the prince thought were very promising bags under her red, swollen eyes. "Good morning, my dear."
How did you sleep?
Well, sadly, I didn't sleep well at all. Thank you for the room, but there was some sort of rock or lump in those mattresses, and no matter how I tossed and turned, I couldn't get quite comfortable. I never actually fell asleep.
Hooray! You passed the test!
What?
Yes, it was all a test, and you passed. Only a true princess would be sensitive enough to know the pea was there, and you knew, so now we know you are truly a true princess. We shall marry.
Oh, whoa. I showed up on your doorstep, drenched, filthy, and exhausted, and you decided to test me?
Well, yes, it was all a test, but you passed, so hooray!
And now you two shall be married. I'll prepare it all.
Yes, married.
No, we are not getting married. What is wrong with you people? This is the meanest thing anyone has ever done to me. Why would I want to marry someone who treats women this way?
Because I am a prince.
What was it you said to me last night? Oh yeah, I remember. Good riddance.
But wait! You are the only true princess in all the land!
And you're not the only prince. I'm off to find someone nicer. And she did find someone nicer. A kind prince who respected her and didn't try to put her through silly, stupid tests. They lived happily ever after and never ate peas. So, the moral of the story? Always be nice to people and never hide your vegetables under the bed. The end.
Hello, my name is Vethaa Karthikeyan, and today I'll be telling you the story of the 3 little pigs. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs whose mother was very, very old. My little children, I am going to send you off into the wild. Beware of the big bad wolf and be safe. Build strong houses, she said. Okay, Mummy, said the 3 pigs, and they set off into the wild. They found a large clearing where they couldn't see the end of. They all decided that this was the place they were going to build their houses. The first pig, the playfulest of them all, said, I'm going to build a house out of hay. It's going to take a day and then I can go play. Just like he said, the house took 1 day. The second pig, the laziest of them all, said, I'm going to go sleep and I'm going to build a house out of sticks and then go sleep some more. He built his house in 2 days. The third pig, the smartest of them all, said, I'm going to build a house out of bricks because that's how Mama told me. He built his house in 1 week. Soon, the big bad wolf really did come. He was hungry. He hadn't eaten in a month. I want food, he said. Is that meat I smell? He said. This will be good for me. He stomped over to a large clearing where he couldn't see the end of. He also found the 3 little pigs' houses. He came to the first house. Little pig, let me in. The first pig, terrified, said, Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. In one big blow, the house came tumbling down. The wolf lunged to grab the pig, but the pig was on his way to the second pig's house. Help, help, brother, the big bad wolf is really here, he said. His brother grabbed him, pushed him in, and closed the door and locked it once. They stood there in terror. The big bad wolf stomped up to the door and knocked. Little pigs, let me in. Not by the hair of our chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. In 2 big blows, the house came tumbling down. The wolf lunged to grab the pig, but the pigs were on their way to the third pig's house. "Help, help, brother, the big bad wolf is really here," they said. Their brother grabbed them, pushed them in, closed the door, and locked it 3 times. Tuk, tuk, tuk. They stood there in silence, terrified. The big bad wolf with his big bad stomp came stomping up to the door and said, little pigs, let me in." "Not by the hair of our chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." But in 3 big blows, the house didn't come tumbling down. The wolf didn't lunge to grab the pigs and eat them all. He stood there, thinking, "If I can't get the pigs this way, then I will go up the chimney and I will eat them all in their own house. Ha 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 ha," he said, and climbed slowly up the roof and looked down. The pigs inside were freaking out. They didn't know what to do. "Oh my God, he's going to come down the chimney," said the playful one. "I'm just going to sleep," said the lazy one. "Okay, well, if we want to stop him, then we'll put a big pot of boiling water underneath." So the first pig and the third pig put a big pot of boiling water underneath the fireplace and waited. The big bad wolf pushed himself down and sang, "I'm going to eat little piggies," in his best voice, and landed in a hot pot of boiling water. "Ah!" he screamed and raced out of the house, never to be seen again. The 3 little pigs in their 3 strong houses lived happily ever after.
Hello, my name is Sachi Dodamani, and today I'll be telling you the story, Grandmother Spider Brings the Light. In the beginning, there was darkness, darkness, and darkness. None of the animals could see anything and were always bumping into each other. "Ouch! Stop that! Get off my tail!" So they decided to call a great council of all the animals and tried to decide what to do. "We need light," said Rabbit. "We need light, but how do we get it?" all the other animals asked. "Well, sometimes when there's a storm, I see a crack in the sky and there's light shining through. Maybe we can send someone up there to get light." "Who do we send?" the other animals asked. "I'll go," said Buzzard. Buzzard was tough and strong and had long wings. "I'll go get the light." "Okay," all the other animals agreed. Buzzard spread his long, strong wings and started for the crack in the sky. When he got there, he broke off a chunk and thought, "How do I get this light back to the animals?" "I know. I have beautiful, soft feathers on my head. I'll make a nest out of them." Now, Buzzard didn't know anything about light. He didn't know it was made out of fire and it would burn right through the feathers on his head. He made a nest and placed the light on top of his head. He spread his long, strong wings and flapped back to the animals. When suddenly, "Sss! Ouch!" yelled Buzzard. The fire had burnt through every feather on his head. He was bald. He flapped his way back to the animals, and the light had burned out. "Who do we send now?" said Rabbit. "I'll go," said Possum. "I'll go get the light." Possum scurried her way to the crack in the sky. This time, she broke off a chunk and thought, "I'll be smarter than Buzzard. I won't put it on my head. I'll put it in my nice bushy tail." She put the ball of light into her tail and scurried her way back to the animals. When suddenly, "Sss! Ouch!" yelled Possum. The light had burned through every hair on her tail. Possum's tail was naked. When she made her way back to the animals, the light had burned out. "Who will go now?" said Rabbit. I'll go, said Grandmother Spider. Who's that? Who's speaking? We can't see you. It's me, Grandmother Spider. What makes you think you can get the light? You won't even remember your way back. I think you ought to let me try, she said. All right, said Rabbit. Grandmother Spider started on her way to the crack in the sky. Knowing she might lose her way, she spun a web so she could retrace her steps. And being smarter than Buzzard and Possum, she scooped up some cool, wet mud. When she got to the crack in the sky, she took off a chunk of light and placed it into the cool, wet mud. She retraced her web to get back to the animals. And on her journey, the light baked and baked and baked the clay until it was solid. It was the first bowl in the world. When she got back to the animals, she took the ball of light and flung it into the sky, and the animals could see. Ever since then, spiders' webs have been shaped like the rays of the sun. Buzzards' heads are always bald, possums' tails are always naked, and there has been light.
Hi, my name is Truong, and today I'd like to tell you the story of The Empty Pot. A long time ago in China, there was a boy named Ping who loved flowers. Anything he planted burst into bloom. Up came flowers, bushes, and even big fruit trees as if by magic. Everyone in the kingdom loved flowers too. They planted them everywhere, and the air smelled like perfume. The emperor loved birds and animals, but flowers most of all, and he tended his own garden every day. But the emperor was very old. He needed to choose a successor to the throne. Who would his successor be, and how would the emperor choose? Because the emperor loved flowers so much, he decided to let the flowers choose. The next day, a proclamation was issued. All the children in the land were to come to the palace. There, they would be given special flower seeds from the emperor. Whoever can show me their best in a year's time, he said, will succeed me to the throne. This news created great excitement throughout the land. Children from all over the country swarmed to the palace to get their flower seeds. All the parents hoped their children would be chosen, and all the children hoped they would be chosen too. When Ping received his seed, he was the happiest child of all. He was sure he could grow the most beautiful flower. Ping filled a pot with rich soil. He planted the seed in it very carefully. He watered it every day. He couldn't wait to see it sprout, grow, and blossom into a beautiful flower. Day after day passed, but nothing grew in his pot. Ping was very worried. He put better soil into a bigger pot. He transferred the seed in it very carefully. Another 2 months he waited. Still, nothing happened. By and by, the whole year passed. Spring came, and the children put on their best clothes to greet the emperor. They rushed to the palace with their beautiful flowers, eagerly hoping to be chosen. Ping was ashamed of his empty pot. He thought the other children would laugh at him because for once he couldn't get a flower to grow. His clever friend ran by, holding a great big plant. "Ping," he cried, "you're not really going to the emperor with an empty pot, are you? Couldn't you grow a big flower like mine?" Ping replied, "I've grown lots of flowers better than yours. It's just the seed that won't grow." Ping's father overheard these words and said, "You did your best, and your best is good enough to present to the emperor." So Ping went straight away to the palace. The emperor was looking at the flowers slowly, one by one. How beautiful all the flowers were. But the emperor was frowning and did not say a word. Finally, he came to Ping. Ping hung his head in shame, expecting to be punished. The emperor asked him, "Why did you bring an empty pot?" Ping started to cry and replied, "I planted the seed you gave me and I watered it every day, but it didn't sprout. I put it in a better pot with better soil, but still it didn't sprout. I watered it every day, but nothing grew. So today I had to bring to you an empty pot. It was the best I could do." With that, a smile slowly spread across the emperor's face, and he put his arm around Ping. Then he exclaimed to one and all, "I have found him. I have found the one person worthy of being emperor. Where you got your seeds from, I do not know, for the seeds I gave you had all been cooked, so it was impossible for any of them to grow. I admire Ping's great courage to appear before me with the empty truth, and now I reward him with my entire kingdom and make him emperor of all the land." The end.